All right, everybody. Welcome to our almost weekly Team Dream Achievers team call, whether you're here live, which I see some smiling faces, or you're watching the replay. We're glad you are here. So tonight's topic is how to get unstuck. But before we get into that, who would like to share? Let's share victories. Who would like to share a victory or two? Big or small? Twy. You're muted. There you go.
I had a host that closed a party today. She ordered $250 worth because her party was only at $116. She ended up with $350, and she had ordered 6 corn and black bean salsa from me last week. She used it all up over the weekend, so she ordered 6 more on her party.
What is she? I mean, it's a great product, but what's she doing with it? Like chips and salsa, baby.
Drinking it.
She had a taco bar at church on Sunday or Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, okay.
And then she said, so she
Twyla,
ordered
maybe she probably should be a consultant to get a discount on that for those church people.
Well, she's a cabbie dealer. She's the one that did my cabbie open house.
Yeah.
What's cabbie?
It's clothes, and I can't wear them, so I got a blouse that I can maybe wear.
It's beautifully made, but very expensive. Well, just because she sells cabbie, she could still do Tastefully Simple.
Yeah, I don't know that she has time, but
wait, stop for a minute. Stop. Have you asked her?
I haven't.
Well,
she's going to Mexico this week. She owns property in Mexico, so she's headed there this week.
But we can't. I'm in a life lesson here. We can't prejudge. I don't want to hear any more of it till you ask her. I couldn't resist. Okay, who else? Big or small?
I'm going to Orlando on Wednesday.
Yay! Where it's hot and sunny and fun, and we can't wait.
I'm going in June. Think of how hot that's going to be.
It's going to be terrible.
Sorry. And I'm taking 11 students.
Oh my gosh. Out of college, I got a job with Land O'Lakes, and it was in Altamont Springs, which is Orlando, a suburb of Orlando. And I went, the job started the end of September, and I remember and I'd been to Orlando, like family trips and stuff. I got off that plane or went outside, and I'm like, this is not the end of September. It was so hot and humid. It was just awful. But it's just like reverse. The winters are amazing. Okay, well, I will share a victory. And I shared the picture. I need to share it on the team page. I'm going to work tomorrow, and then I'm not going to work because tomorrow's a flying day. Anyway, this one really fun party was over like last week. Maybe it was a week ago but $920, but 4 bookings on the calendar. Now, nice. Twyla, do you think I asked her about joining? Heck yeah. Remember, just ask Q2. Yeah, I did ask her. I'm asking everybody because why not? So anyway, hey, welcome, Lisa. All right, well, let's move on then to announcements. And I've decided on announcements, I'm going to keep it to 4 because you all can go on TS Central. You can all go to that little bell up on the top and catch up. So I'm going to share with you my top 4. And Sheila already talked about one of them, our Making Magic trip to Orlando. Our incentive trip, there's going to be 15, including myself, Dream Achievers. So I cannot wait to see everybody. Jill Visit, April 24th. Lisa Burns earned a Jill Visit. It is a week. It's on a Wednesday night. It's free. It's free. And if you're close by or even kind of close by, Desiree's coming and she's going to spend the night at my cabin. And I've got a new team member, Kate, who's like 33. She's coming from Grand Forks, and Sheila's coming. And anyway, it's going to be great. So hopefully you can be there. You need to register though, so they know how many people to plan for. Okay, Party Palooza, Be the Spark. I know some of you have already registered, and that is August 1st to the 3rd. Any questions on Party Palooza? Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Shelley.
Hello.
Okay, well, we'd love to see you all there. So don't forget to register. And then Angie and I are partnering together once again for a team freezer meal workshop May 2nd. We'd love for you all to join us. And which one is it again? It's the grilling one, right, Ange? I mean, I'll be honest, I hate cooking every day. So I'd love to go down to my freezer the night before and pull it out. And sometimes I pull out two because you can have two thawing out in your fridge and then you got the next 2 nights taken care of. That's my kind of cooking. So anyway, we'd love for you to join us. Of course, you can invite clients and there you go. Okay, product knowledge. Are any questions on announcements or anything that you have a question on? All right, well then let's move on to product knowledge segment. We have a wonderful team member speaking. I'm scrambling. Here we go. Okay, Bree Jennings, a leader with Tastefully Simple for 3.5 years. And she is from Hudson, Wisconsin. And how far into Wisconsin is Hudson if I was like in Stillwater? How far of a drive would I have?
We are 15 minutes from Stillwater.
Oh,
And if you're coming east on 94, we're a little past Woodbury. It's the first town in Wisconsin.
nice. So really
Yeah.
close to Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're Wisconsin. So anyway, I would love for you to chat about your product. Take it away.
Okay, so I will be talking about, sorry, I have my little light on here, watermelon lime frozen drink mix. So I sampled this at our retreat earlier this year and it was delicious. I usually think our drink mixes that come in the buckets are a little on the sweet side and sometimes too sweet. But I thought this one was just right. I'm telling people who usually think that they're too sweet, like my sister, that she will really like this one. I thought it was great. So we had it, I think just with water at the TS meeting that we had earlier this year. So you can do that if you want to make it NA, or you can add either a can of pop to it, pop or soda, or you can add just some sparkling water to it if you'd like to make it NA. And if you'd like to make it alcoholic, you can add your vodka or your rum or whatever alcohol you like and just pour it in and mix it up and then stick it in the freezer. And in 12 to 14 hours, you'll have a lovely little cocktail or a non-alcoholic refresher. Very good. And I'm excited to open this up and drink it this month or next now that it's getting nice out.
Love it. Thank you. Any questions? Twyla?
I sampled it at a party and they thought it tastes like the watermelon Jolly Rancher.
Ah,
So
that's
that's what I've been
great.
telling people, that it's like the Jolly Rancher from watermelon, and
Hmm.
people were loving it. So that was just a way to describe what it tastes like.
Did you make it
Awesome.
with alcohol? Did you have it frozen?
I
Did
s-
you have it
I had
as just a
spark-
liquid?
I just had sparkling water. That's how I've made it, with sparkling
Nice.
water.
So it wasn't slushy or was it slushy?
No, I served it with ice.
Mm.
Okay.
It wasn't
Nice.
slushy.
Well, Bria, thank you. And Twyla, that's great. I do appreciate you saying that you didn't think it's as sweet as some of our drink buckets, because I know they have been pretty sweet. So that's fantastic. All right, well, now it's time to move on to how to get unstuck from your business. And I'm using some training from, let's start out with this. I joined Becky Launder's VIP Academy. And it's kind of cool because it makes me feel like a new consultant. Because she's got this dashboard and she has all these different things I can do. And I just want to say, tell me what I really should do. But I have to take some time to figure it out, right? Just like a new consultant does. And I have to say, I have a one-on-one with Becky, and I'm really looking forward to that because I think we all learn differently. Like, I love it when someone says, here's what you need to do. And other people maybe love to take the time to figure it all out. So just remember that when you bring on new team members, is everybody has a different style, right? I'm okay if someone tells me what to do. So anyway, I'm excited to be a part of that. And I do believe, like, she has a training vault. I can share her video with you all on the team page, but I just have to make sure that's okay. So everybody unmute because I have a question. Oh no, actually, can everybody down in the chat, do you know where that is? Except for maybe Christy, because she's walking, but I'm gonna ask you a question, and are you all okay to type it in? You guys okay to do that? Okay, everybody can see it, but it'll just be easier than going around and whatever. So and just be honest. On a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being not stuck, like you're flying, number 1, and 5 being super stuck, how are you feeling about your biz? So kind of opposite of what we normally do. 1 being not stuck and 5 being super stuck. So I'm going to look down on here and I'm going to see, let's see, I'm trying to think, what should I say? Oh, Christy's saying a 5. Thanks, Christy. Sorry, I was looking down. Oh, see, so Christy's super stuck. 1 being not stuck. I'm going to say, okay, so let's look and see what everybody's got. Okay. So fun to see. Sheila 4, Rebecca 4, Desiree. Well, you guys can read it too. Okay. So interesting. And that could be a question you could ask your team members too. How are they feeling? So she actually has 7 tips to share, but because we're not going to talk about all 7, we're going to talk about the 3 that she talks about. And the first one, and I bet you guys know what it might be if you were to guess. I'm going to tell you anyway, is give your mindset a checkup. Don't you guys agree? It's like what we think in here when you're an entrepreneur and, most of us are, well, not me, I guess, but you're doing it on the side. You've got this full-time gig and you're doing this Tastefully Simple. What are you thinking? Are you thinking that this is hard and nobody wants to do this, or gosh, how is this company doing anyway? That's negative thinking, as most of you know. So you want to check what you're saying. I mean, not that sometimes we don't think that, but and then another thing she talked about, and I feel too in direct sales, what I did even 5 years ago before COVID, and maybe you guys would say the same, is so different now, right? I mean, there's SynShare, there's Project Broadcast, there's all this stuff, where before there wasn't, right? So she said, do you consider yourself a student of the business, or do you think you know it all? So what that means is, are you continually learning new things, right? And I don't care if you're in the eye business like Sheila is, or teaching like Angie, or empowering people to love music like Rebecca. Maybe that's stays kind of the same, but I bet there's different techniques on how to really get kids involved. Anyway, business for sure, in the medical field, I can't speak for teaching because I'm not a teacher, is all about change, right? So do you consider yourself a student of change, or do you tell yourself this really doesn't work? So anyway, think of yourself as a student of change. And maybe you need to do daily affirmations. Have you ever had to do that where you're kind of stuck in a rut and you're like, put little Post-it notes like, I can do this, or, whatever you need to do. Like, I will sponsor. Remember when we used to say I'm a sponsoring magnet? You guys remember that? Or I'm a booking magnet? Or just telling yourself, did you know the buzzword right now is experiences? Have you guys kind of heard that? Like, experiences are a buzzword. Like, people want to experience things. That's why I think the charcuterie board thing, just in general, or putting together flower bouquets or making wreaths or whatever. People like an experience. Well, guess what? A tasting party is an experience, right? So who doesn't want to get together and do that? Okay. So here's another question. And this one we're just going to say rather than type it in. When you find yourself holding you back in your mind, ooh, I don't even like how she asked this question. When you find yourself stuck, I'm going to reword it. How do you go about fixing it? Does anybody want to share? It's referring to the stinking thinking. What tips do you guys each have a tip? What do you do when you find yourself stuck? How do you fix it? Who wants to share? Go ahead,
I
Twyla.
can share. I can share. Usually what I need to do then is to go to my address book and send out some messages and get some yeses so that I feel like I'm still that it's still worth it.
Yeah, so you create action and you're getting positive feedback. That's fantastic. Thank you,
Yeah, I
Twyla.
agree, Twyla. Action kind of helps create the motivation sometimes. But it's just starting that action that
Doing
can be
that.
tough. Yeah.
Desiree?
I tend to find that I take like a little half a step backwards and go looking at like what maybe somebody else is doing, get a new idea of like a new theme party I could do or a new way of laying it out or something, create something new and then go out and say, I have this new thing. Anybody want to try this new something? So that I feel like I have something fun to say instead of like, how's the party? Like, like
So Desiree, what you're doing is finding something you're excited about.
something new,
So,
something more exciting than just I've been doing this thing for a year. I'm gonna
Yep.
I don't want it to start asking the same people to do the exact same one that they've been doing. Like, yeah, I find a new way of presenting it or a new type of thing to do so that it's just,
Awesome.
if it's boring to me, then it's boring.
Mhm.
It's probably, like, oh,
Right.
I'll
Well, I don't
do
think of
that
you
again.
as boring, Desiree. But I get what you're saying. Okay. So anybody else want to share? If you're stuck in a rut in your business, what do you do? Nothing? Well, I'll tell you one thing that I love to do. Well, it's to have an accountability partner if you don't have one. Find one because it's always great to, and maybe you do have, I know some of you do. And I was listening, do you guys ever listen to Adrienne Swanson's Yo Adrienne on Spotify? I mean, she has podcasts. Anybody listen to her?
I've heard it once. Mhm.
Yeah, she's interviewed all kinds of different people, and she does it every Monday. And so yesterday she talked about accountability partners. It was great. So check it out, but she's got good information. But the other thing is, I mean, even myself, sometimes I'll be like, I mean, you guys, I could go do something else. I would never have the flexibility and the fun and the income, but I mean, I have days where I'm like, just like all of us, right? So for me, the best medicine is to go to a party. Because like Twyla said, she wanted to get that yeses. I mean, I love people and I love a tasting party. So to see that energy and excitement is a good fix for me, right? So do something where you're sharing the product or out and about. So anything else? Others, we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, just it happens to all of us. So figure out a way that you can get out of that yucky thinking. Okay, number 2, I don't know if this has ever happened to any of you. I'm stuck. My calendar's empty. That's the worst feeling if you flip over your calendar and there's nothing there. But on a side note, I got to tell you, it is sales and sometimes the roller coaster goes up and sometimes it goes down. It doesn't mean it's you. Doesn't mean you're bad or this business doesn't work. Sometimes it just happens, right? My favorite way to fill my calendar is at tasting parties or on online parties. But sometimes, like Twyla said or Desiree said, you do gotta pick up the phone or, well, who does that anymore? But you do have to reach out to people, right? And make it happen. But that's not unusual. So here's a couple things that Becky said. Book parties. Go back to the basics and make a list. Who are your super fans? Who loves our products? Look at that host that Twyla just talked about. She ordered like, what did you say? $250. She'd be kind of a super host, right? Here's another one that I know you guys have heard about many times. Host your own party. And some of you have been doing that. Mystery host parties are great. And now that I can't pick up orders, I'll be honest with you. I have and I'm sure most of you have done this already, but I have a mystery host party open at all times. And then once it gets to 500, this is what I do. And then I do the little spin wheel and I draw somebody. But that's great. And these really aren't like this next one too. Book a vendor event or a pop-up event. because it gets you going, right? It gets you in front of people and creates that momentum. How about ask for referrals? Do you ever do that? Do you ever ask your family or friends or people that you know? You can have a referral gift as far as getting a booking or whatever. And then Becky's big into the 3+3+3. And she's like, you can work your business in 20 minutes a day. You really just want to work income producing. So reach out to 3 current customers, 3 future, and then 3 future team members. And if you did that 5 days a week, can you imagine? You did 3+3+3. Wow, that would be huge. Okay, so any strategies that you would have to get your calendar unstuck that you want to share that I maybe didn't cover? Anybody have any ideas? What do you guys do in your calendar? Just what we talked about? All right, well, let's move on then. The third one is I'm stuck. I have run out of people to ask. Do you ever feel that way? I'm sure you do. I mean, sometimes I feel that way and then I go, stop it. There's so many people out there. Okay, so here is, but it's not a fun feeling. And like I've told team members, and I got to tell you, I just recruited somebody. She's super excited. And I said, Kate, you know, we're going to do a blast off party when I get back online. But you know what I told her? Make a list of 25 potential hosts. Why are we not doing that? I mean, that's what we did when we all started because we did 6 in a dozen. So, you know, that momentum will start with her online party, but we need to keep it going. So creating that list. Anyway, so first on the list of I'm stuck is making that list. And sometimes at first your mind is blank, but then if you know, potential hosts, you carry that with you or potential team members, I find that I'll be like, oh, that's right. I went and got my prescription at the drugstore. Shannon was going to book a party like a year ago. Shame on me. Or you know what I'm saying? Does it ever happen to you? You're like in your day to day. I went to the library the other day and I've been planting seeds with her and Kelsey's doing a party. She's probably 32. Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it doesn't happen immediately, but you're planting the seeds. Twyla is really great at this and it's called networking. And I know Twyla's in a couple different business groups. Are any of you in a business group, whether it's a women's group or a BNI or chamber? Okay, well, just that's something to think about. And then lastly, she says, flip the mindset. Are you thinking in a scarce way or an abundant way? And it's really easy to fall into the scarce way. You know, our products are too expensive. Nobody likes to do this stuff. You know, who does this stuff anyway anymore? You know, that's like a scarcity mentality. So you've got to flip the switch. I say that to my, you know, I play pickleball and it's with men and women. And sometimes, you know, I'm like Energizer Bunny usually, but sometimes I'll be playing with a guy and I'm like, hey, I'm so excited. And he's like, yeah, well, I haven't been playing very well. I'm like, Richard, flip the switch. Stop telling yourself that. And they laugh at me, but it's the same thing with us, you guys. If you're being negative or telling yourself this isn't any good, then you got to flip the switch. So she talks about the mindset. Okay, so I'm going to just go to this and here's her question. What have you heard? Oh, no. Is there anything else that you can think of that would help you feel unstuck? I'm sorry, I just feel like I'm rambling.
I think too, this probably falls under accountability, but like be careful of who you're spending time with because you know, they can be negative or rub off on you negatively and not feed into the positivity too. So I know sometimes like, you know, we're pretty much all friends with people that do Tastefully Simple, but sometimes people are more negative about certain things. Like I'm sure Sherry's heard people who don't like the in-home party.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like it all works if you work. So I think trying to just, I mean, obviously not be mean or rude, but just limit time around people who are not feeding into the positive part of the business. So
Rebecca, that's super great advice. And the other thing you touched on, which I didn't really mention, there's so many different ways to work your business in today's world, right? And so like Rebecca said, maybe you don't like to do tasting parties. That's okay. Maybe you don't want to do online parties. That's okay. but there's so many different ways you can use your business, and she's right about negativity, because I think Adrian talked about that today too on her podcast that I listened to. It's kind of easy. It's easy to be negative, and then negativity brings more negativity, and you're like, stop it. Or don't you ever tell yourself like, I gotta get out of this conversation, or I need to go to the bathroom if you're like in person or something, or, and if you're coaching a team member, I always try to acknowledge, and maybe I don't, but I do try to acknowledge the feelings and say, I know how you feel and I'm sorry you feel, or whatever, but then we got to move on to something positive so we can move forward. So thanks for bringing that up, Rebecca. Anybody else want to share anything? No? Okay. I'm going to stop the recording, but I do want to talk about something once I've hit stop. So hang on for a minute, okay? But let me figure out to keep it to 30 minutes. I'm going to hit